Hey guys, welcome back to AI, the Somnium files. In the last episode, a lot happened. If you haven't watched that, down in the description below you'll find a link to the playlist. Just go and watch. It is really insane what happened. So, it doesn't really matter right now because we are going to talk to Boss about what happened. And also some other topics, apparently. Ota's behavior during the video. What about the polar bear costume? Ota had no incentive to kill Renju. Let's go with the last one first. Ota had no incentive to kill Renju.
Maybe he was thinking like this. The reason Iris and I can't be together is because her agency prohibits it, making the president, Renju, the ultimate bad guy in his mind.
Mizuki is Ota's close friend. Do you really think Ota would kill his friend's father?
That actually doesn't make sense. He is kinda right about that. Ota had no incentive to kill Shoko.
Shoko was married to Renju. Maybe he was trying to get at Renju by killing her.
That's a stretch.
I see that.
They've been divorced for years. Ota knows all about it. He wouldn't use Shoko to get to Renju.
Ota's behavior during the video.
Stay away from Tessa!
Ota showed himself on the stream. If he was gonna kill Iris and then himself, why would he do that? The only reason you would show yourself like that is to prove that you weren't the culprit. Ota and the polar bear on the screen at the same time would prove that they're not the same person. That behavior would be totally unnecessary if he was gonna commit suicide anyway.
That's true.
Well, maybe he wasn't planning on dying at first. After he killed Iris, he realized that he couldn't live with himself.
So he lies down on the workbench and turns on the ice-cutting machine himself? I don't buy it.
What about the polar bear costume?
The culprit was wearing a polar bear costume, probably to hide their identity. But if murder-suicide was the plan, the costume served no purpose.
Exactly.
There are some additional discrepancies. I analyzed the investigation report. Judging by his wound, Ota was stabbed in the side by a kitchen knife or something similar.
Are you sure?
I am.
I told the boss what I ever found.
Oh, I know that.
Well?
Ota could have stabbed himself.
That's true though.
Maybe he thought it would be a fatal wound, but when it didn't work, he went for the ice-cutting machine.
Then, shouldn't we have recovered the kitchen knife from the scene?
Maybe he threw it in the ocean.
Boss, come on. Ota goes out to the water, stabs himself in the gut, throws the knife over the side, then walks back to the warehouse?
Well, I wasn't being serious. I didn't think Ota was the culprit from the beginning. I was just playing devil's advocate for HQ.
Really?
Yes, really.
Anyway, Ota didn't kill anyone, and he didn't kill himself. Here's what I think happened.
Stay away from Tessa!
Ota knew Iris was kidnapped, so he rushed onto the scene. That's when he saw the culprit wearing the polar bear costume. He tried to fight him off, but ended up being stabbed in the side. He was weakened and losing blood at the culprit's mercy. The culprit forced him into the costume, then under the ice-cutting machine. And then...
Then, who is the culprit?
Exactly. This is so peculiar.
I wish I knew.
We're up to 4 victims. But Ota was a special circumstance. He wasn't specifically targeted by the culprit.
Right. And he was the only one to not have his eye pulled out.
Exactly.
So let's focus on the 3 other victims. Shoko, Renju, and Iris. What connects these 3?
Connections.
It's Lamnescate. No, not really, because Shoko... It's Mizuki?
If you find a connection between the victims, you find a connection to the culprit. That's the theory of investigation, right?
You think the new Cyclops killer is related to them somehow?
Maybe, maybe not. But it's a good starting point.
Alright, boss, what else do you have in stock? Ranju and Shoku's daughter Mizuki, Iris' mother Hitami, Kumakura, Oto's mother Mayumi. I think that Ranju and Shoku's daughter Mizuki is actually, as I just put it, is the real connection. So we're gonna take a look at the others first. The boss is sitting in front of me. Ota's mother Mayumi.
Mayumi had motive for killing Iris and Renju. Mayumi hated Iris, and she didn't think well of Lemniscate either. And since Renju is the president... Anyway, the weak point is Renju's ex-wife, Shoko. I can't imagine why Mayumi would kill her. And above all else, she would never harm her only son, let alone kill him.
Exactly, I totally agree. Moma Kumakura.
Renju and Shoko were connected to the Kumakuras. But there's no connection to Iris.
Exactly. Iris' mother Hitomi first.
Hitomi and Renju are definitely linked. They were high school classmates. And she did say that she met Shoko twice. But I can't imagine she would kill Iris in such a gruesome way. No matter what the circumstances were, it seems impossible to me.
Who knows? Congressman Sosejima. Or do we go for Mizuki first? Because Mizuki showed up first. Let's go with Sosejima first.
Renju, Shoko, and So. There is a connection between Renju and Shoko through the Kumakuras. But again, I can't see any clear link to Iris.
What about me exactly? Let's go with Mizuki first though.
Mizuki has the strongest connections with all three victims. Shoko and Renju were her parents, and she was close friends with Iris. She was good friends with Ota too. But that's why I could never believe Mizuki would kill all four of them. Thinking of her as a suspect is ridiculous.
Might be the case though, so we are the connection it seems.
I know Renju and Shoko, and I'm connected to Iris. But I have an alibi. Aside from Shoko, there's no way I could have killed any of them. No, now that I think about it, Shoko too. I don't remember killing her. My memories from 6 years ago are missing, but I still have my memory of recent events. And if I start doubting myself now...
Date, I can say without a doubt that there is zero possibility you are the new Cyclops killer. I have been working with you for years. I know better than anyone that you are innocent.
Hmm.
I thought it over, boss. Of the people I know, I can't peg any of them as the murderer.
And no leads to pursue?
No.
Then there's only one thing you can do. Continue your investigation. Do whatever it takes to get the culprit. To get justice for the victims.
You're right. Got it, boss.
Okay. Where do we go though? Marble Sagan Residence. Okay, we do have new... I think that we should go here first because that's where the last murder took place. The diner, not so much. Date Residence, so this is where we live, huh? Let's go to the cold storage warehouse first. Because that's apparently the hottest lead that we can get now. Cold storage warehouse, Monday. I stepped into the cold storage warehouse. The air conditioning wasn't running, but it was still cold. The temperature hadn't raised much at all. The cold air sunk into my skin, but the center of my body was burning hot. Alright, let's have a look around then. Shelves with boxes. Shelves packed with cardboard boxes. I don't see any clues here. What about the top? Nothing on the top. What's going on here? There's a box here, cardboard. There's a cardboard box on the floor. There's nothing in it. A wooden box on the shelf. It's empty. What about the shelves themselves?
There are only a few items on the shelf.
Is this warehouse not in use?
Seems to be the case. So this is the inspector. I already forgot his name, although it might seem like a meme in this game. I actually don't know. What about this oil drum? An oil drum, unlikely to be a clue. Police officer. Any progress on the investigation?
I checked this place point by point, but didn't find nothing.
Okay, if that is the case, let's have a
A
look
video camera and laptop. This is what the criminal used to stream. All of these items have been bought from pawn shops and thrift stores. It would be difficult to determine a suspect from them.
Clever.
I
Very
have logged into the Wi-Fi in this warehouse. Okiura Fishery Co., Ltd. is listed as the owner. However, I found the password written directly on the router. Anyone who saw it could have used it. I have done some research. As the name suggests, the company is owned by the Okiuras, the same Okiuras we know. Renju's father created the company.
Another connection to Renju.
No, actually. Currently, Okiura Fishery has nothing to do with Renju. The company has been managed by office representatives for the past 17 years after Renju's father died. Renju holds no shares and is not involved in the management. In short, Renju did not inherit the company from his father, and it was instead given to other persons.
But it can't be a coincidence.
It certainly is suspicious.
Okay.
This forklift is old. It does not appear to be functional. It has not been moved in some time.
The tire and floor are covered with a layer of ice. Overhead crane. A hook is hanging from the ceiling crane, but nothing else about it. Forklift B, a forklift. I don't see anything special about it. Bloodstain B. Ice cutting machine. We're gonna have a look at that in a second. We're gonna start with Bloodstain A. Iris and Ota's blood. Iris and Ota's blood. Evidence marker. An evidence marker. It's a little marker that puts up to track evidence at the scene. Bloodstain B. Is this Ota's blood? Okay, we will have to ask the inspector here for. The inspector is doing his duties as usual. Any clues?
No, nothing so far.
Okay, so I guess it's time to have a look at the ice cutting machine. Iris and Ota were sliced in two by this ice cutting machine. Iris and Ota.
Iris's estimated time of death and cause of death have been confirmed.
But the blood splatter, so maybe she is not dead. I mean, it's might be some kind of an illusion or whatever, so...
The video was not a recording. It was a live stream, filmed in real time.
Which means Iris's time of death is 3:20 a.m.
Have you found the body, though?
Iris also had her left eye removed.
Yeah.
And like Renju and Shoko, Iris's left eyeball has not been recovered.
Ice cutting machine.
Right here.
Workbench.
Iris and Ota were.
I am sure you are already aware of Ota's time of death.
Just before I arrived. About 3:30 in the morning.
And the cause of death.
Right, about that. Ota had a stab wound from a kitchen knife in his side.
Correct.
What was the exact cause of death? Was it the knife wound or...
I cannot determine that. I can conclude that the knife wound was at least close to being fatal. Even if Ota was still alive on the workbench, he was certainly on the verge of death. If he weren't already extremely weak, we would expect to see more signs of struggle.
Maybe Ota was trying to help Iris, jumping at the criminal. That led to scuffle, and Ota ended up with a knife or a wound in his side. He lost all his power to fight back. He was forcibly put inside the costume, then finally cut open by the ice cutting machine.
But why? Why did the culprit put the costume on Ota?
Unknown. Date, we should get moving. Officers from the local jurisdiction are checking the warehouse thoroughly. We will not find anything of importance here.
Yeah, you're right.
You can ask CSI to inform you if they find anything.
All right.
I'm heading out. Let me know if you find anything. I let them know, then left the warehouse. really don't know what to think of this. When I left the warehouse, I saw Pewter. What is he doing here? He walked up to me while I was trying to work it out.
Date, I have to talk to you about something.
Huh?
About the original Cyclops serial killings.
Why this all of a sudden?
Because I want you to solve this case, Mr. Date. I want you to find who did this and bring them to justice. So, if I can help you, even a little.
Why didn't you say anything at Abyss?
The boss was there. I couldn't speak openly in front of her. So, I decided to meet you here.
All right. Let's hear it.
Earlier, I told you that I was completely certain the original Cyclops killer couldn't have committed these crimes.
Yes, you did.
I am absolutely certain the original Cyclops killer could not have committed these crimes. Let me explain why. I'll start by telling you the identity of the Cyclops killer. Although, it's more accurate to say, killers.
More than one?
In the first series of killings, the culprit had an accomplice. One of them was born a murderous psychopath. The other is Rohan Kumakura, the previous chairman of the Kumakuras.
Interesting. That is news, indeed.
They each had a role to play. The murderer committed the homicide, and Rohan removed the eyeball.
Okay, we're gonna have a look around first, of course. Water, the water of Tokyo Bay, barrier, a hologram barrier, policeman, a police officer. Strange that this one is policeman and this is a policeman number 1. A wooden box. There's an oil drum. A crane. Yeah, that's still the crane. That's a box. Container, stacked containers. Okura Fishery Cold Storage Warehouse. There was something else here, right? A warehouse all in line. Okay, so we have everything. Alright, Pewter. Let's have a look at you first. Pewter looks grimly serious. Why did the Cyclops case get classified? About Rohan, who is the murderous psychopath? Let's start with why it was classified.
That, I don't know.
The details of the original Cyclops serial killings case have become nebulous over time. Even the official investigation material contains nothing of value. I am unable to draw any conclusions from them.
You really have no idea?
If I did, I would tell you.
About Rohan.
18 years ago, Rohan took a woman's eye. She was already dead. He put his finger into her eye socket and gouged it out. The reason why was simple. He was fascinated by women's eyes. Their beauty stimulated his greed and his desire to possess them. He needed to have them, to make them his own. Driven by this instinctive impulse, he took the woman's eye. From then on, he acquired a grotesque obsession with the eyes of dead women. He was very particular about his need that the eye belonged to a deceased woman. But even being the head of a Yakuza gang, there weren't too many opportunities for him to indulge. His deepest, darkest desire went unfulfilled for years. However, he soon met his ideal partner, the aforementioned psychopath. The Cyclops killer would commit the murder, and Rohan would take the eye. Thus, a mutually beneficial relationship was established. This was the origin of the Cyclops serial killings. At about the same time, you were assigned to Abyss.
Who's the murderous psychopath?
He was born with a brain dysfunction. Due to damage to the posterior pituitary gland, he was unable to properly secrete oxytocin.
Oxytocin is a peptide hormone linked to feelings of love, affection, and trust. It is colloquially referred to as the love hormone. It causes a tranquilizing effect which improves mood and relieves stress. It is normally secreted when the body makes contact with an object of affection, such as an embrace or caress.
I'm sure you know what this implies, but he was unable to feel love in the way that we do. However, he was able to experience a substitute. His brain was wired in such a way that allowed him to feel satisfaction through other means. Due to the unique idiosyncrasies of his brain, he was able to release large amounts of dopamine and endorphins by performing a certain action.
What was it?
Murder.
Dopamine is a hormone linked to the reward system of the brain. The pleasant feeling attained through accomplishment is dopamine. Endorphins are a kind of brain narcotic. They dull pain and create a feeling of happiness.
He got pleasure from killing people?
It's slightly more complicated than that. Killing people was the only way he could get pleasure. He was 12 when he took his first life.
Oh.
That enlightened him to the pleasure of murder, which he would do again and again.
Summarize for me.
The original Cyclops killer had an accomplice,
There were 2 Cyclops killers.
and one of them was the former chairman of the Kumakuras, Rohan Kumakura.
Rohan committed suicide by jumping to his death 1 year ago.
That means... Pewter, tell me this. One of the original killers is dead, I know that. But that means one remains. Who is he?
After his 4th murder, he was arrested by the police. They actually picked him up on other charges. But, in any case, he is currently serving a life sentence in Fuchu prison.
Fuchu prison?
Yes.
What's his name?
In prison, he doesn't have a name.
It's
He's
number
simply
89.
called number
Yeah.
89.
Number 89.
Yeah, we already had contact, kind of, indirectly.
I know who killed Shogun Adami.
So, now you know why I said that. That the original Cyclops killer couldn't have committed these crimes. Because one is dead, and the other is behind bars. Neither of them had the opportunity.
Pewter looks grimly serious. Well, we can't go to prison, but we can go to Matsushita Diner. Where are we supposed to go? I think we're gonna go by list, and we're gonna start with Matsushita Diner then. Matsushita Diner on Monday. The place was silent. It was so quiet, I felt like I could hear the floating dust. I stepped inside. I thought it was empty, but I saw a shadow in the corner of my eye. It was Mayumi. It was like watching a decaying old tree cling pathetically to the earth. Well, that's actually very sad, because she lost her son. She loved him like nothing else in this world. We know that, but he is dead now, and he is in some way involved into all of this. I don't know how, but I think that he is indeed involved in this. But guys, I'm really sorry, we are nearing the end of the episode mark. We are going to talk to Mayumi on the next episode of AI, the Somnium Files. See you then.